Attention, everybody! The views expressed on this show are not necessarily those of Acts Ministry, Acts Media Group, and or their affiliate and subordinate ministries and or nonprofits and people who have common sense. So, without any further ado, that last part about common sense, that wasn't part of the disclaimer.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
Funny nonetheless. Here we go. Merge. Yay!
Woo!
Good morning! Coming to you live from Acts Media Group headquarters here in a beautiful Springfield, Missouri. It's a morning drive with Matt and Jay, with your hosts, Matt and Jay.
Wow. That was awesome.
I can't hear myself.
You know, you are kind of
Well, I
quiet.
can't hear myself.
You are kind of quiet. Of course, compared to with the, in the thing.
Right.
Exactly.
Good morning, Jana. Boy, she's early. Good morning, Jana.
Top of the morning. I got coffee on my
And
mind.
Susan Burrows is actually watching too.
Susan Burrows. Very good.
I'm glad. I hope your van is fixed. See, I'm not the only one in the family.
All right. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the morning drive with Matt and Jay. My name is Matt.
My name is Jay.
Oh, and I'm Steve.
Oh, sorry. I must have had something caught in my throat there for a second.
Yeah, and I was in another world.
Were you in another world?
Oh, that's a soap opera. No, that was a soap
There we
opera.
are. That's a watch
No,
party.
that's the days of our lives. As
Oh, another
as
world.
the
used to
world turns, or as salt through the hourglass, or whatever.
be- the sour glass. Oh,
Block.
block.
Yeah, I got some weird.
Uh-oh.
The central.org sort. Oh, that's weird.
Jana even said, "Good morning, Matt, Jay, and me."
Good morning, Jana.
All right.
Welcome to the party. We've been having a lot of fun today.
More dad jokes.
I was going to tell we were standing downstairs and I was going to start telling people as they walk in, hey, there are cubbies in there for you to put your ice skates in, so that way you don't get water all over the
Are
floor.
there cubbies?
Good morning,
No.
Scott. Good morning, Marcia.
Scott and Marcia, Scutarius and Marcianicus,
Australia.
Domesticus Meridius.
Yeah, that.
I used to.
Do you know a year ago today, I
A
was...
year ago today.
A year ago today, it's popped up on my memories
1 year ago today.
that I was on your show for the first time.
Meanwhile,
Was it a year
back
ago?
at the Legion of Doom. Huh?
Seems like it couldn't be a year ago.
A year ago today,
Oh, yeah.
I was your guest for the first time
That's
on the morning drive.
Fun.
Yeah.
All right, good morning, everybody on
Look what it's grown
AxeRadio.com. We're glad to have everybody with us today. We got Steve-O Mickey Mac is in the studio with us
Steve-O
today.
Mickey
Good
Mac.
morning. Good morning, Facebook. Good
Mickey
morning,
Mac
Max Radio.
Paddlewack.
All right, give the bogadone.
Be
Something like that.
You ever heard that joke about the frog? A frog went into a bank looking for a loan for a new lily pad,
No.
and they needed collateral. So this frog brought in a bunch of these little figurines as collateral. They're collective figurines, and she goes, "I don't know. I don't know if we can take this as collateral. Let me go get my boss." And the teller's name was Patty Black.
Okay, that's an original name.
Yeah, Patty Black. And so she went and got her boss, and her boss came and looked at these little figurines, and she goes, "Do you know what those are?" He says, "Yeah, it's a knick-knack, Patty Black. Get the frog alone."
Good one.
That was
Yes.
I like
just,
it.
Good morning, Facebook.
too much setup for not enough knocking them down.
Yeah.
I used to tell this one. It took like 15 minutes to tell this joke about a dog going into a racehorse's stall and asking him all these questions. And the very end of it, and it was him asking a bunch of questions or the dog asking a bunch of questions, and then one horse said,
So the dog was asking a bunch of
yes,
questions.
and then at the end of the story,
And at the end,
At the end of the
Of the
story,
dog in the stall
Yes.
talking to the horse. Asking
the horse
questions.
says, "Hey, look, a talking dog." That was the moral of the story. You know what the moral of the story
Wow.
is?
Right.
Look, a talking dog. So
Right.
you invest all this time in listening to this joke, huge setup, and then that's the punchline is,
Hey,
"Hey,
it's-
look, a talking dog."
It's Doug.
Yeah. And you
So-
never get those moments back.
Never. You never do.
They're gone.
It's like stealing bits of people's lives.
It is. It is
Yes.
very much like that.
Hello, Marcia Baxter Everson. Of course, we turn Jay's mic up. Let's do it.
Hey. good
Actually,
morning.
it says turn Jay's. It says mic up. I thought it said makeup.
turns what up?
Turn
what up?
your makeup up.
So what are we turning up?
Your mic?
A B C D E F G H I. I'm like monotone. H I J K L M N O P
Okay.
Q R S T U V
W.
W X Y and
Could you imagine?
Z.
Now.
Could
you're
you imagine us
Stop
being on
these-
here with one of
Stop
those voice
easy.
box thingies?
Oh no.
Oh man, it would be never ending.
Yeah,
It's just unreal.
It wouldn't
A B
stop.
C D. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you have one of those, we love you anyway. We love you. I don't want to say anyways.
Oh
because
yeah, that's just
Pitch shift.
Some-
You probably have a thing on there for it.
sometimes that can be wrong.
probably
An
some.
effect.
There's probably ways to do that, but
Oh, it's not,
We have it on the board.
Yeah, of
Susan,
course,
it's
that's why
not
we had
to- over
their
there.
That's why we had to
anniversary,
move the
it's
board away from
my
you.
anniversary.
you think it was bad with some of the dad jokes and stuff. Whenever he had the board sitting right next to him, all of a sudden there's a setting on there called pitch shift, and you can hear my regular voice, but also the voice that's coming out of the thing digitally is like, while my regular voice is like this, or he'd drop it down low, but we'd start laughing, and that's all you'd hear is these high pitched.
Or
Oh.
yeah.
All right, that'll be enough of that.
It's Tuesday morning.
Is it,
folks.
enough?
man.
Is it
It's
enough?
not a
Are
Friday.
you
and it's
sure
not
it's
Monday.
enough?
So does that, Mr. Everson, does that work? Does he sound better?
Jana and Susan think it's our anniversary, but it's my anniversary 1 year ago today.
Yeah, our anniversary,
It's coming up on
Happy
5 years,
anniversary.
right?
See, Stephen.
5 years in July.
Susan Burrows got it. Happy anniversary to Steve.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, she heard me.
To
Thank you, Susan.
Happy anniversary to you.
Thank you,
What,
Matt.
you were like, this is gonna be.
I was watching how you got some food stuck in your mustache, and it
not
just
food.
blew across.
It's not food, it's coffee. It's
Oh,
coffee
it's coffee.
driblets.
Matt.
He blew coffee driblets
Thank
across
you.
her.
Thank you.
This is
Thank you, man.
this is
You stole my thing. I have a
This
meme.
is-
I have a.
this
I
is-
have a
this
gift.
is really cool.
Oh no!
I think that we could do a lot of good stuff.
Except for China.
It's all China, 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 China. That's,
For
someone
Kim,
did a collage with all the times
For-
he said the word China in his presidential campaign
oh
in the
no!
first campaign.
I love those.
It was like 11 minutes long of him just saying China, 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 China. It's like, okay,
Some of those collages are pretty funny.
China.
That sounds like a Japanese one.
He always looks like he's doing a
China.
breaststroke.
and not getting anywhere.
He does talk with his hands a lot. He's like,
He does. Yeah.
He's exercising.
Yeah.
That's
good morning,
the best
Nikki
exercise
Skaggs.
That's the best
I'm
exercise he
blown
gets.
away. Blown away. Here I go
Morning,
again.
Nikki.
It astonishes me what it takes, like what it's taken for Donald Trump and his way of doing things to
Good morning, Nikki.
shift the political environment, like to shift it in a way that something is getting done.
Good morning,
And
Jennifer.
then at how hard he's working and how aggressively he's just stirring up the pot and just getting everybody incensed with,
in order
just
to
to
forge
do one
metal,
little thing.
one of the first things you got to do, a part of forging metal into the shape you want it to be, is you have to agitate or disrupt the molecules in the metal itself.
Mm-hmm.
And it's still really, really hard to do, but it's easier to do whenever it's hot and the molecules are loose and upset. That's why when you hit it, I mean, that right there completely just the molecules of the metal. And then
the weaker molecules break apart.
And then when you douse it, psh, you know, it's going to harden up rock solid.
Right, but how long is it going to take? He doesn't have that much time.
No, but he'll
Even
have.
if he gets 4 more years, if it goes like this, which is getting worse.
Yeah, because they're battling.
And they haven't gotten anything
people
done.
Are calling for people are calling for the them. Democrats even are like talking about wanting to get rid of Nancy Pelosi, aren't they?
Well, I mean, that's all
that lady is
media
nuts.
hype. That's all media hype.
Yeah.
And we don't really know the real environment. And I heard it said also that that's why these rallies and stuff are so important, because you actually get the public to turn out, to take time, money, and resources out of their schedule to go out to a political event and
the problem is
support the party or the you know, ideals that they believe in or that more closely resemble their own.
And this is a hunch here. This is one of my hunches that probably a very high percentage of those people that turn out to these rallies didn't even vote.
I think so.
I bet you that's
and won't.
true.
No, I think some of them are paid to agitate. There are people that pay people to agitate.
They're getting paid underneath the table to
I'm
do
sure
a lot
that they're
of
paying
things.
people to put on "Make America Great Again" hat and cause trouble.
Well,
I mean,
the
not
payoff
that our
is also if you just put it on
people are
YouTube and a
causing trouble
gazillion
anyways.
people watch it, you get paid
You usually
until,
tell who
until they
those are.
demonetize it.
Yeah, I mean, our there with every side, there's bad people in every single team on every single team. As far as like the protesters and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So just because you see one person in a "Make America Great Again" hat lose his crap on TV,
Yeah.
doesn't mean we're all crazy like that.
Exactly.
Yeah, the last time I was in a political discussion with somebody, I told them that Russia should annex us so we could have warm, fuzzy hats to wear. But that, I may have been overreacting a little bit.
Just a tad.
Well, you know, he told me I hated my country just because I voted for President Trump. That is dumb. People, come on. That's all I can say about that. You know, if I don't hate somebody because they voted for Hillary, I don't care who you voted for. That's your right. It's not my business to know who you vote for.
Well,
we might not like their politics, we might not like their ideas, but to actually demoralize or
Demonetize?
demonetize, right? That person,
Like,
that's
or
not
demonize?
right.
Demonize.
Right.
Demonize.
I think the people with the most power financially, you know, the people with the most power in our economic system and the people with the most power in our political system really want the people out of the equation. I mean, think about it. The media and all of these media sources have shown us that to speak up about your beliefs and what you really believe in, or at least to state what side you're taking on an issue and what candidate you may support because of that particular issue. When you do that, there's actually not a big backlash. But what you see on media is that there's a huge backlash, and it's a dangerous prospect to do that. So more and more people are not willing to say what they think. So you go into the voting booth, and it doesn't matter who you voted for. You're not going to come out of there and tell anybody. So you're not going to have 100,000 people in Springfield, Missouri, all talking about the election and who they voted for and saying, well, if we all voted for this person, then how did this person get elected? Right? So if you're not getting that interaction and you're not getting those communications openly where people understand where the majority and where the minority lie, what their beliefs are, why they believe them, where they stand on any particular issue, because you'll find if you vote Republican, you may not even agree with some of the issues that they are presenting or their side they take on those issues, but the most important fundamental issues to you are the ones that matter the most, so that's who you vote for, right? Well, if you close all this down, if you shut all this down with fear and anxiety, and people won't communicate and openly express themselves and their beliefs and what they think, then the voting booth is irrelevant. You know, the people of economic and political power can just write in the name they want.
Well,
and I believe that. And maybe that's conspiracy theorist, but who's to stop them?
You think that's conspiracy theory?
I think that's the reason why when you talk about it openly, you may have some aggressive conversations, but the risk isn't as high as what they show us on here. And then what the result of what you see on here all the time is that people won't express what they think about an issue.
I'd say go and watch The Running Man with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
And if they do express their opinion,
that's a very interesting
that's almost
movie.
That's almost. If looking back at that now, if you watch that movie now, you're like, wow, that was almost prophetic.
That's true.
In that the media controls everything because they control the mob. Rome is the mob. Just saying.
well, yeah, you don't want to come out into a perceived mob and state your position and hope that it's not, hope that it aligns with
Don't be
them.
like that guy that went to a feminist protest rally and exposed himself.
That was just really.
That was a really bad idea on his part.
What happened to him?
He shouldn't have done that.
There's a picture of him.
He got beat up?
No, he's like backed up against a fence on like some sort of weird rooftop, like kind of like he can't go any further, and he's like this right here, and
It's like 50
all the women are
screaming
like
in his
literally
face.
leaning in, and their faces are beet red, yelling at this guy, and he's like has this weird look on his face, like maybe I shouldn't have done that.
I'll
Maybe
be brought
It's a
to your
little
place.
too
might have
late
been
now.
might have been a bad idea.
What?
Now I got to walk through thousands of women who I just
Want to kill
exposed
him.
myself to.
Good luck.
First of all, you shouldn't be exposing yourself to anybody except your wife,
Just saying.
and not in public.
That's a very good
You know,
idea.
and keep it between yourselves. You know, just saying.
Yeah.
That's what it says.
You know, just like blacks or Muslims, there's extreme rights. And
Now,
there's
okay, I
extreme-
want to clear something up here. I'm afraid that somebody will get mad if I just refer to black people as blacks. Is that a I mean, I don't understand. I don't know.
I don't know how to really. Sometimes I don't know how to say anything like that.
Well, there's
Blacks,
just there's so
African.
many eggshells to walk on in that situation. So we could just say, should I just say brown people? Is that the best way to?
I don't know
Or
why.
how about we just call them people?
Why don't we just do that? Why?
Well,
yeah,
I'm just
why?
saying. I don't usually make reference
And
to
then
somebody's
I've heard people of other colors
ethnicity.
how I've said it too. Or I mean, I've heard it that way.
Because I had this one of my drivers. He was an African
That doesn't mean
American
it's
gentleman.
right or wrong.
He was an African American guy, and he used to say, "What color is you?" I said, "Well," and I'm not being stereotypical. That is exactly how he said it. Okay, I can't help but impersonate people when I quote them. I said, "Beige." He said, "No, you're brown. We're all just different shades of brown." I'm like, "All right." And then
I
he'd
have
say, "How
heard
much
that.
money are you going to lend me?" And I'd say, "As much as I lent you the last time." Which was nothing. They didn't have anything.
Yeah.
But
I
you know,
have heard that expression before.
Let's
It's like
just
we're all
reissue the
different
logo.
shades.
Huh?
We're all
different shades. We are different shades. We're all different shades of brown.
What's your point when you use that term? When
know
you
what?
use terms like that, what is the point? What are you trying to
Well, first of all,
explain or
I think the only
communicate?
time you really should make mention of someone's race or the color of their skin is if you're trying to point somebody out to somebody, or you're trying to say, hey, like that black guy.
Give somebody a visual description,
Right,
so
right,
they
right, right.
understand what, so they can paint the picture,
Right.
So you can convey your image in your head to somebody else so they will have a similar image.
Well, what I was just saying that we got to be careful because Muslim, whatever race you are, is how
Muslim
I should
isn't
put
a
it.
race,
It's a religion,
right?
race or religion.
Dennis Severson says, in general, it's a bad idea to expose yourself in public.
In
yes.
general,
Yes,
In general,
Dennis,
generally.
yeah.
Like if you and I was explaining this to my son. Like, let's say you had to go to the bathroom and you decide to go pee on a street sign or something. If somebody sees you, I told him you're going to have to register as a sex offender for the rest of your life. If you get a ticket for that, that is a lewd and lascivious act in public. That is
which I don't agree with that.
no. I don't either, but that's just how it is.
I think if somebody's intentionally doing it in a very busy public place, that's different than somebody who's about to pee themselves because they have to go so bad and there's no access to a bathroom
Good morning, Larry Melton.
and peeing in the on the side of the road where there's a wall of briars and brush. You know, what I mean?
Briar Patch. That's
Charging somebody in a circumstance like that with, a lewd and lascivious act is just ridiculous.
well, yeah. I think.
I mean, if it's in front of
I think
somebody's
in all
house, yeah.
like if you're sitting, especially if there are children running around the front yard,
Yeah.
go somewhere else.
I think the circumstance is it. A lewd and lascivious act.
There's a lewd and lascivious
Those
act.
words all have meanings
Yes.
that describe an intent, that describe or prescribe an intent.
Prescribe.
If a person is trying to privately urinate so they don't wet their own pants and there's no access to a bathroom, and get as least as kind of out of the public eye as possible and get caught, that's not. It is a false statement
It is a false
to
statement.
say or to force them to register as a sex
If
offender,
you're standing in
because
front of
that
a
is
school,
not
don't
what
do
they're
it.
doing.
Don't do that. Don't do that in front of a school. Don't do that. Your best bet is to, go in some. If you have to go outside, make sure it's like in a backyard somewhere behind
Or
a tree,
some heavy wooded area.
heavy wooded area. Because we were at a campsite one time. Some friends of mine and I were, and there were these. It was one of those free campsites at Pomme de Terre. And not all the people there are of the most upstanding quality human being as far as like their lifestyle is concerned. But who am I to judge?
I agree also that the threat of that charge
Yes.
may have made some people a little more careful about.
Well, I'll tell you how I found this out. Well, I didn't actually get in trouble for peeing in public, but I lived in a bad part of town, and I didn't get along with the neighbors. And if I was outside mowing, instead of going all the way through the backyard, all the way into the front door, or whatever to use the bathroom, I just pee on the fence in the backyard. Well, it was a chain link fence. Part of it was a chain link fence, and those people had a camera pointing over towards our house. So they threatened to call the police on me whenever we were having. I shouldn't have thrown that handful of leaves in their yard. That was rude of me, but they didn't have to.
How could you?
They basically blackmailed me,
Into behaving yourself?
into behaving myself.
How dare you?
I know, how dare they? That was years ago. Steve Schultz says, y'all are all over the place this morning. Yeah,
Yes.
we are.
Welcome,
It
Steve.
is icy outside, and we were all over the place on the way to work.
Right, I was like, will you
We just skated ourselves into
Well,
work.
last night I went to pick Jay up from work, which I enjoy doing because I do love driving this stuff.
It is fun.
It can
Except for the morons that
Everybody,
drive up and tailgate you, which is super dangerous. Especially if a person's going slow, it's because their experience is not enough, and that they are going the speed that they can safely.
we had a guy
Travel.
blow past us last night in this
Really?
pickup truck.
Yeah.
He had to be going 35, 40 miles an hour
Yeah.
on solid ice.
Oh, nice.
And there are two cars going like this up in front of us, and he barrels
And
past
one
us.
was trying to safely pass the other.
Yeah, but they were doing it really slowly, and he just pulls up on him, and he hits his brakes. Next thing you know, he's going really slow. I
Yeah.
think what he did was he about hit them in the backside and decided,
And had to change
I
lanes to
know I've got-
avoid that.
Yeah.
Which
I
is
know I've
not
got
There a black
four-wheel
ice
drive,
alert?
but-
Wasn't there a black ice alert last
there's
night?
black ice
Oh,
alert
yeah.
out right
There
now.
should be right now, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it
20
was snowing
degrees.
whenever we came back up.
Man, there's nothing in Branson.
If it starts snowing, if it starts snowing worse, you're not going to have a show today. You're going to have to go ahead and head home.
Yeah.
Now, Branson probably uses a lot of salt and sand.
No, they don't use salt.
No, they don't get weather.
Well, we do, and when we do, they just shut Branson down. The theaters cancel, and
Yeah.
everything just
Well,
goes dead.
When the ice storm of 2007 hit,
Oh, yeah.
when you get like just before Ozark, all the way to Branson, it was just rain.
Oh,
Yep.
It was it.
Just like yesterday.
every-
Geographic.
Yeah.
anomaly.
Saddlebrook down to Branson,
hills.
all it was just rain. But I was white knuckle up until that point because of the way that cars I saw.
When he
cars
says
that
white
spit-
knuckle, that means he was holding onto the steering wheel so tight that he lost the blood flow to his knuckles.
very good. He's good.
What? Is that
Yeah.
what that means?
Yeah. So whenever you squeeze your finger like this and you see it turns white and then back red, back pink, that's called the capillary refill. You check that, like if you think somebody's having a stroke, you squeeze that
Yep.
And if it doesn't go, if it stays white and doesn't go back to pink
Then
on the fingernail, they could be having a stroke.
And that happened to me a few years ago.
How many of you guys just checked your fingers just now? It's true, though. That's one of the things that we did when I was trained at the fire department.
It's interesting.
Yeah, you're supposed to check their
Seriously,
blood pressure.
Check yourself.
If they have really low blood pressure on this side and they have really high blood pressure on this side, that means they're probably having a stroke.
Don't check one of their fingers if that finger may have at some time in their life been smashed or popped by a sledgehammer, because it doesn't work as well.
No, seriously, folks, check yourself.
Sorry, somebody posting his Axe Media Group, I don't know if it's Jim or Dennis Eberson, said, black ice? Why do you like calling things black? Ice is clear.
Yeah, it was with you, Matt.
They call it black ice. They call it black ice, and you know
because it's on black asphalt.
There you go. Whoa, beep, beep. Oh, you said asphalt. Okay.
Now, why would I say it?
You had one A, one S, PHALT. Yeah. There
Yes.
wasn't. Now, if there were two S's in that, I would have a problem.
Yes, and then I would be grounded.
You would be. You would be. Because there's only one person here who has said the A word on the air.
I don't know what you're
was
talking about.
Was I here for that? Because I remember
That one's in the archive so far back there
Oh,
that no one will
okay.
ever see that.
Okay, well, good. Because for some reason I thought
If you're going to do my testimony, and you might just hear it today.
Yeah,
there might be some long beeps.
we were talking about. We had one of the people that you worked with came on the show, and he was in recovery also, and somehow got to talking about police dogs.
Because I was growing marijuana when I was a
Yeah,
young lad.
And whenever they let the dogs out,
Or helping to.
said why did you run, or why did you something? He said, why did you?
Why do they stop the dogs from chasing somebody out of their sight?
And then you said,
Because they'll kill the dogs.
yeah, and said, why would you kill the dog? Well, because they'll bite your,
They'll
you know,
bite your.
A word.
Bite
And
the A.
Me and the other guests at the same time start going beep, beep.
Which I didn't realize. Well, they will.
Yeah,
I mean-
but then all of a sudden you didn't realize it, and he's like going beep, beep. And,
Yeah.
Oh, well,
There's-
too late now.
Well, I mean, what do? Let a dog bite you? No, of course not.
And you can put a beep in inappropriate places and make it
And
sound
them
like you're
dogs
saying
are
something
rough,
worse.
man. Those dogs are rough.
Ha! You took my joke.
Oh man, I
But
heard
no, I
that.
mean that they are rough. They're
Um,
not playing. Their idea. Okay, so their purpose is to get to. Okay, to apprehend you, so to catch you. To maintain control of you, and to keep you off balance and in a so they're there to keep you in a so they're there to shake you and pull you and keep you off balance so that you're not able to regain your composure and fight back.
Exactly.
I thought I had a beep on here, but I don't.
You know, Nick, you said you were talking about black ice. Yes, we were, but we're not. I guess is there seriously-
Turmeric will help you from getting white fingers.
Really? Who said that?
Larry Melton.
Oh,
Interesting.
You know what I got to say about that?
by the way, Cindy Flowers is Papa now.
Papa, no! I don't know what that means, but
I have no idea, but Cindy Flowers just joined my watch party, and did she say hello to you guys?
I don't have her on here. Or I have a lag that's so far behind. I'm watching the Axe Media Group one.
Okay.
I saw your watch party and I didn't join it. I joined the Axe Media.
yeah.
I
What
always
in the
do.
world?
Well, because I'm trying to build Axe numbers.
Oh, yeah. So, I'm trying to do the opposite.
Well, I'm just hoping it's not that. I mean, I want as many people to see as possible, and however that's accomplished is good. But I mean, I'm
Wah. Is that what it is? See?
What are you up to over there? So what are we talking about
He's
now?
playing with his toys.
It's like, you really have to go to the bathroom, so you go behind, like, this tree on the side of the road. Next thing you hear is...
And you got to
Just saying.
because you know how after you
yeah,
get
the
the
chill.
yeah.
I never understood that. Let's do a commercial right quick, eh?
Okay, let's do that.
Okay, bye, Nikki. She's got to go.
Bye,
so
Nikki.
Bye, Nikki.
It's all right.
Are you ready?
Hold on, just no.
He's
You're way
he's
faster.
organizing his toys.
All right, go for it. You ready?
You're ready.
Hey, everybody! Welcome to the producer's desk here at Axe Media Group, Axe Television Network, on the Morning Drive. That's right, you're on the Morning Drive. Today's show is brought to you by NaturalSolutionStore.bz. It's right there.
.bz.
So go online,
.bz.
check it out. .bz.
.bz.
.bz. So we've got
Beezy, beezy, beezy.
the product we're really pushing right now is Super Hemp Balm. And the reason we are is because it works, folks. That's right, it works. One little smidgen on your hands and apply it to the affected area, whether it be your knuckles, whether it be your muscles, whether it be your headache. You put a little bit right there on your temple. Usually my buddy Barney
I think
says
it helps in the healing process,
It
too.
does too, yes. And it's got all natural ingredients in it.
I know what you can get me for Christmas.
My experience in using it is that when you consistently use it, shortly after that, you
What he said.
get on the road to recovery.
That's right.
So, I mean, I still have to continue my testing on it and see, but
Go online. If you have achy backs, achy arms, achy anything, go online, naturalsolutionstore.bz. Pick up a jar of Super Hemp Balm today. Back to you guys.
all right, we're back.
Natural Solution Store.
.bz.
.bz. Obsession.
Oh man, that commercial cracked
That
me
was
up.
terrible. You remember the Zima commercials back in the
Yes.
day?
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't
What's your
remember.
Zine? Stop. What?
What?
What is he doing?
Nothing.
What? What are you doing over there? Is it on YouTube?
It's on YouTube, yeah. Right.
Wow.
Oh, .bz.
.bz. No.
So you said you watched the Shrek movies yesterday.
No, I didn't. It was Austin Powers, but
Oh, camera one,
Close.
camera two.
there is the character Fat Bastard in that movie basically is Shrek's accent.
Yeah,
It is.
If you can do a Shrek accent, you can do a Fat Bastard accent also.
Right. Right.
Master English Colonel telling me to lose weight. Oh, my hot case, he says. What? You still got me on there? Take me off of there. You guys. If you're watching on YouTube, they've had my face on there for the last minute and a half.
I like that. That was funny. That was fun.
Oh, my hot case, he says.
Right. Say that again.
Nope.
You have to do that again for these folks.
I like Donkey better though. Donkey's the best character in those movies.
I
like
heard
Donkey
myself.
better, though. Donkey's the best character in those movies.
Donkey.
Well, and then there's that gingerbread dude.
I heard myself.
The gingerbread man?
Yes, and his family.
Tell me where it is. Okay, I'll tell you.
And then there's Pinocchio.
Do you know the Muffin Man? The Muffin Man? The Muffin Man.
Who lives down in?
Yes, I know the Muffin Man. Who lives on Drury Lane? Well, she's married to the Muffin Man. The Muffin Man. The Muffin Man. She's married to the Muffin Man. Sorry.
And then there's Pinocchio. Woo-hoo!
I'm a real boy.
Are you watching YouTube now?
No, is my face on there?
No, I was just making sure. What?
Wow. Say what?
Well, technically, you're not a king. Salodius. I've seen that movie a lot, too. All those movies.
They're good.
I'm a donkey. I was born outdoors. Do life outside.
And then there's
'Cause I'm all alone. There's no one here beside me. You had to start it, didn't you?
it's your fault, Jay.
It's my fault.
Tis indeed. Okay, so what do we got here?
It was fun to watch.
Steve says
for a
his
minute.
fingers are white.
Well, that's good.
Larry says call naturalsalutes.com.
Natural salute. We salute you.
.bc.
.pc.
Okay.
.bc.
I used it for carpal tunnel, and it worked great, Baxter Everson says, which is also Dennis Everson, by the way, for those of you who don't know. So now I've got the...
I forgot to say good morning to Dennis. Good morning, Dennis.
Say something crazy like, I'm wearing women's underwear. I'm wearing women's underwear. Are you? I really am not. I think you really am not. What kind? It's a thong. Psh, that's my favorite part in any of those movies. That when they find catnip on Puss in Boots.
Yep.
I saw a
that one was
clip
funny.
of the Wonder Twins, the cartoon.
Oh,
Yeah.
that old school?
Oh, yeah. You know,
And
where
I didn't
am
realize
water.
how openly adult that show was.
All those
Really?
cartoons were openly adult. Even Looney Tunes.
But
You
when I was
wasn't-
a child and I didn't
Really?
understand that, I
It
was
was-
fully
I guess I
entertained
have
by
to
the
look at it
storyline
again.
of the hero.
Yeah,
and
like
of the
Betty
villain,
Boop.
and of the tragedy and the.
She was a pinup girl. She still is. There's still people who are obsessed with Betty Boop.
Or Roger Rabbit.
Oh yeah, that movie should have been rated R.
That was not. That was definitely adult.
But yeah, all those old shows like that. You know why? Because people's feelings weren't hurt as easy back then. You know, nowadays they play like I watched some of those classic. They had to put up a disclaimer before some of these old classic cartoons because they are openly stereotypical when it comes to African Americans.
Yeah, the Smurfs.
Even Disney.
The Smurfs, I heard, were like demonistic, or they had some qualities.
But you know, but that is because people choose to be offended. What about Elmer Fudd?
Yeah, he's.
Are they not making fun of his character in that?
Yeah.
What about Bugs Bunny? Did they not make fun of his character?
Steve says, "I'm a child of the
What
king."
about the Roadrunner? What about the?
Amen.
You know what I mean? I mean
That
you-
poor
Wile
Wiley
E.
Coyote.
Coyote.
Yeah, boy, that poor guy. He really needs to find a different place to shop.
I mean, Elmer Fudd was a moron.
Acme really.
He was, and that's what they. But there's also a black character that takes the place of Elmer Fudd in a couple of them.
Yep, I remember seeing that.
And I'm telling you what, even I was offended when I saw this.
Really?
Oh yeah, yeah. Just that's.
remember.
I couldn't believe it. He's like, "Oh, what you doing there, rabbit?" I mean, it was. It was really.
They
I was.
profiled. You know,
I'm surprised that YouTube lets them play it. I mean, it's not. I mean, it's not racist, but it is very stereotyping, and it's Bugs Bunny. But it's basically the exact same cartoon as the one with Elmer Fudd, but with a black guy.
Jana was talking about SpongeBob.
SpongeBob is. If you're an adult watching SpongeBob, first of all, I've watched SpongeBob a lot, so I can't really say anything bad about that. But there is one like where there's like this weird sea anemone out flopping back and forth on the TV, and Gary the snail comes in and he goes, "I wasn't watching it, I swear, Gary." He changed the channel real quick like he was watching some dirty movie. So yeah, there are, and on Phineas and Ferb and all those
Yeah.
different. I mean,
And then there's that Adult
really,
Swim.
just because it's a cartoon, folks, doesn't mean it's okay for your kids
Or adult.
or
Adult
adults.
Swim.
Or child. I mean,
Yeah.
Have you
but
ever
I
heard of
watched
that?
these cartoons when I was a child and had no idea what it was. I think there's also so they're good and bad in a lot of things that bring up issues. Like for instance, this was an adult kind of a sexual reference, like an innuendo, a sexual innuendo in this cartoon that I was watching this clip of. And I'm thinking to myself, I watched that show when I was a kid and never noticed anything like that. But it's
Yeah,
because I had no understanding
That's right, you
of
were a
that.
kid.
Yeah.
You were a kid and you didn't have the mind to really think
No,
about
Larry,
anything.
you can't use the super hemp balm as a breath freshener and get a buzz. It's that doesn't have any weed
I
in
had
it.
I had no
It's got
Adverse.
CBD oil, which is not THC.
I had no immediate noticeable adverse
I've
side
used
effects,
it-
so I had no
Internally on a
Mind-altering
toothache
effects.
before,
Cindy.
and it did not get me high in any way, shape, or form. Just so everybody knows that.
But I think also as a child grows up watching those cartoons, and as they mature into adolescence, then they start to hear some things about that, and those things bring up questions, which
Steve
is where
says,
the
Steve Schultz.
opportunity for an
Yes.
adult to address and teach a child about a topic before they meet that.
Steve Schultz, before I forget, Steve Schultz said they took the Three Stooges off of the air because they were too violent.
Yes.
And
that's
then now
true.
you have the morning drive.
Well, wait a minute.
So who's Mo here?
So who's the stooge?
There is no
We're all
Mo.
three Stooges. I loved the Three Stooges.
I did too.
You know,
Curly.
whenever he told when he told Curly to go in there and shave some ice, you know, for a drink or whatever, Curly goes in with his giant block of ice, puts an apron around it, smears shaving cream on it, and gets a straight razor, starts shaving. So, are you happy or are you married? You know, which was pretty funny. I didn't
Back
know what that
then,
meant back then.
back
Since I've
then
been
it
married
was
twice, I know that now.
Yeah.
I know what it means now.
Cindy, she actually has a screenshot of the gingerbread man.
Oh man.
Cindy,
I think
Cindy.
I think that's a pretty spot on impression of that gingerbread man. I worked hard on it.
Yeah, it was good, I thought.
You know, all these impressions I do, I didn't just start doing them. I had to work on them. You had to, but now that 90% of people won't even know what it's from
Yeah,
because
it's
all
true.
the kids are like, "What are you doing?"
And then
It's just
Jana puts a screenshot of SpongeBob and
I'm
Patrick.
ready. Nah. That's all I got
Patrick
on that.
and SpongeBob and then Susan, bless her heart, she's like, we're the Three Musketeers.
All for one and one for what?
Oh.
No, that's what I was saying. All for one and one for what? That
Oh.
no, I know that.
No, I know.
You know.
Do you know?
You know.
Steve says when you start hitting each other, then they will take you off the air.
He's faint. What?
He's farting.
Oh,
Who's farting?
The Muffin Man?
the Muffin Man.
The Muffin Man is farting.
That's what Cindy said. He was
Oh.
farting.
Or is the
He has
gingerbread
that
man?
look
The
on his
gingerbread
face.
man.
I like the giant gingerbread man, Mongo.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, not the gumdrop buttons. And he knocks the gumdrop button off of him.
Bop.
Oh yeah. Donkey in the back of the of the onion carriage.
Are we there yet? No, donkey. We are
For
not there
5
yet.
minutes, could you not be yourself? For 5 minutes. People just turn in right at that moment. Tune in just right then and there. They'd be like, "What in the world's going on on the drive today? We're being crazy today."
We're driving
somebody did
We're
actually. It
driving
went from 9
crazy
to
today
10.
is what we are. Just like yesterday. They were driving crazy. We're just driving people crazy today. Okay.
No.
Are we there yet? Yes.
We are. No, it's in a land.
I love that.
away.
I love that. It's 20 degrees outside right now.
Yeah.
I love that part where, it's snowing good, isn't it?
Oh
No?
my smokes! Wow.
Did you say, "Oh my
Holy
smokes"?
snows.
Oh my smokes! I was gonna say, oh my stars, but it came. Oh my smokes!
It's like, "Oh my smokes"! Did you hear him?
I don't
Just
smoke.
quit
so-
smoking.
I think he just cracked. We just witnessed
we-
the crack.
We cracked him.
Oh man.
Thank you. Whoever Axe Media Group said great impressions, Matt.
Yeah.
It is great impression.
My goal, and I was just remembering all the funny stuff that
Love you too, Jana.
all these movies made a generation of people
Yeah.
with a certain type of sense of humor.
Right.
Like if they do a remake, if they don't have Mike Myers do the remake, that would be dumb. I also watched The Love Guru, which is another one by Mike Myers who does all these different
Well,
impressions.
did you ever see the Gong Show? The new Gong Show with that older guy from London, and he's got the picture of the Queen in the back, and well, for the longest time I couldn't figure it out who it was. You know, the producer was Wayne, not Wayne. I just said his name. It just blew me away. Anyway,
Holy Snow?
holy smokes!
What are we talking about?
No, the Gong Show. That older guy that they.
I've never seen it.
Oh,
You look a
know,
little frustrated with this
I'm
line.
Is it a
frustrated
new
because-
show? Is it a new show?
No, it was a new show.
When?
last
Gong
summer.
Show was
it was
an
a
old
summer.
show.
It was a summer show on ABC. You know where they take ABC all summer.
Was there
long.
actually a gong involved?
Yes.
Yeah,
See,
there's
I've
a
been
big
watching
gong.
a lot of Red Green here lately.
Yeah.
I would love to get a hold of Red Green.
So what
and
about
get
the
him on
Gong Show,
But anyways,
Steve?
go Gong Show.
You know Shrek. What's his name?
Good
Mike
corralling.
Myers.
Thank you.
Good corralling.
You're
Thank
welcome.
You for that.
Mike Myers actually was that man, and they made him up to be this old British guy to host the Gong Show.
Oh yeah, Mike Myers is a brilliant actor.
He-
He's Canadian, so he's kind of weird, but still.
Eh?
sorry, folks out there who.
Yeah,
if you're
is
from
he from
Canada,
Michigan?
You said something else.
yeah,
I
if you're
said,
from
eh.
Michigan or Wisconsin, we're sorry to offend
Bless
you with that Canadian
Michigan,
comment.
go blue. I had to say that, for my Michigan.
Did you
friends.
say go St. Louis Blues?
Are you kidding?
Did you just,
I
are you
said,
kidding?
"Are
What are
you
you from
kidding?"
Jersey now? You should be on the Jersey Shore. With the what's that dude's name? The
Pookie or
no,
No.
that's Snooki. You're thinking of
Snooki.
terrible. That's a terrible show.
Oh man,
Um,
it is. You're
That's
not
just a
kidding.
bad show all the way
That's just
around.
our opinion. It's not the opinion of Axe Media Group, Axe Television Network, or any of its subordinates. Or
So much
province.
aggression in those shows. I
Yeah.
mean, the backbiting and undermining and
that's why
hurtful.
people tune in. They want to see people screw other people over.
Why?
Exactly.
Why?
That's the new
Why?
thing. That's the new thing.
That's just how people
Well,
are.
that's an old thing. That show
Yeah.
started what?
Wasn't
more than
there?
10
it
years
was a
Wasn't
new
there a
thing back
show in the
then.
'70s where someone would go up and kick someone in the crotch?
That show started what? 20, 25 years ago.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
What,
it was a
the-
new
the-
thing back then, but it's an
Jersey
old thing
Shore.
now.
Jersey or what is
Jersey
it?
Was
Shore.
that 25 years ago?
Yeah, it's
It
been
has to
at
have
least
been.
25.
I'm 30. No, I was in my 20s.
I used to watch it with my wife.
I'm
my first
39.
wife.
Okay,
my
maybe
kid's
20
mother.
then.
Maybe 20, maybe 15.
It's got to be that long.
It's got to be at least 15.
because it wasn't
at
my kind of
least.
show.
Because I remember I watched the roast of Donald Trump. Back when a lot of people
Maybe it
liked
wasn't.
him.
Maybe who
Um,
was that with? I used to watch. It.
Celebrity
A lot of
Apprentice.
people still like him, but he was a roast. They were roasting Donald Trump. It was hilarious because Mike Tyson was on there.
Yeah.
And he started stumbling through his words a little bit, and he heard one person laugh, and the way he stopped and looked at her, the entire room went silent. He's like, and then he was like, looked at somebody, and the entire room got silent, and then everybody started laughing because of how serious he got and how everybody shut up as soon as they saw.
Well, he
you
was
saw
a dangerous man.
Yeah, he's still what is he in his 50s?
He's not as dangerous anymore.
Well,
He's got,
he doesn't
he's
bite
been through
anybody on the
recovery.
ear anymore. Take their ears off.
He went through a recovery program and took it very, very, very seriously, and is really
Dennis Everson's
Change
from
in his
Wisconsin, so yeah, it's good to see we got some Canadians watching.
so he's not as aggressive
Well, I'm
and
going to still
dangerous
say
as
go
he
blue
was.
at
No,
St. Louis.
I mean,
He's
he
denounced
were-
all of that.
if he were
doesn't
so
even
in-
work out because it
I think he's
it
actually
promotes
Buddhist.
his aggressive.
I think he's a Buddhist now.
Yeah, I heard that.
So I mean, you eat one ear.
Yeah, I mean he's
just-
still into hallucinogens and marijuana and all that stuff, but
And he
sells-
tattooed his face. But
he
hey,
sells
could-
marijuana.
That's an interesting tattoo.
Could you imagine him on a?
Who else could have a tattoo like that? Well, I see a lot of people with tattoos.
Yeah,
There's a lot worse
usually people
tattoos.
regret their tattoos on their face like immediately.
You know, there's been a lot worse tattoos on people's faces besides what he's got.
I've seen people with the whites of their eyes tattooed.
I'm
Yes.
seeing more and more people who are not regretting the tattoos on their faces. As a matter of fact, they keep getting more.
Yep, and their whole face is basically like that. You know what that means?
It's time for us to get out of here.
Yes.
And I don't know if Tom Young is in here or not. But
He
anyways,
usually walks in the door like
Tom Young.
10
the
minutes
the
ago.
weather's pretty bad outside. If
What's
something
next?
happens, this is Tuesday. Something to celebrate.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So tune in next for something to celebrate, unless the weather keeps them away, and then we'll find a rerun somewhere somehow.
And then what about my show?
And then your show, you're here, so we'll do it.
Okay.
So, anyways, we'll be back on tomorrow, same time, same channel. Until then, God bless you and keep you. We love you. My name is Matt,
My name is Jay.
My name is Steve.
and this has been
The Morning Drive.